The Jewish Channel's Week in Review. Joe Lieberman packs it in. The PLO lets its flag fly in Washington. Examining Jewish poverty in 2011. And more of the Jewish news that's changing your world right now on this episode of the Week in Review. Hello, and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Stephen I. Weiss. Senator Joseph Lieberman of Connecticut will not seek re-election in 2012, he announced Wednesday. A four-term senator, Lieberman has been one of the most prominent Jewish voices in Washington over the past decade, in large part because of his particular role in partisan politics. A fierce critic of former President Bill Clinton during the Monica Lewinsky affair, he was selected by former Vice President Al Gore as a running mate in the 2000 presidential election. After a short-lived attempt at the Democratic presidential nomination in 2004, Lieberman's alliances with Republicans in the years that followed led to his eventually losing the Democratic nomination for his own Senate seat in 2006, though he successfully held on to his seat by running as an independent. He then allied himself rather closely with Republican Senator John McCain in his 2008 presidential campaign. Lieberman is one of two independents in the current Congress. He is also one of 12 Jewish senators in the current Congress, and Lieberman has achieved a special kind of fame in the Jewish community for his Orthodox affiliation. Indeed, a frequent story of Lieberman's campaigns was of his lack of political activity on the Jewish Sabbath and of his kosher dietary needs. Of course, one major way Lieberman introduced the country to his Jewishness back in 2000 was by inviting political correspondents to meet his Jewish mother, Marcia, who cooked up a storm. Lieberman's mother became a symbol of his Jewishness in a different way in the summer of 2005, when she passed away at 90 years of age. Without any prior announcement, Lieberman's appearances at press conferences and public events became the subject of inquiry because the usually clean-shaven Lieberman suddenly looked, as one daily newspaper said at the time, unusually scruffy. Observers then discovered that Lieberman was growing a traditional Jewish mourning beard in the month after his mother passed away. While Lieberman's career in elected office is set to conclude, there is new hope for the welfare of Congresswoman Giffords, recovering from a gunshot to the head after an apparent assassination attempt. Giffords' husband has said he feels the Congresswoman is aware of her situation and those around her after she gave him a neck massage while in her hospital bed. Giffords' condition has also been upgraded by her doctors from critical to serious. In Israel news, the Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO, has a more prominent presence in Washington this week after it was allowed for the first time to raise its flag over its Washington mission. The move required approval by the State Department, which came in August. In a statement at the flag raising, a PLO envoy explained the meaning of the raising of the flag, saying, "We hope that this will help international efforts to provide recognition of the Palestinian state, and we hope that, as President Obama said at the UN General Assembly last year, by the next General Assembly session this year in September, Palestine will be a full member of the UN." Within Israel, a story of a shakeup in the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could lead either to destabilization of his coalition and new elections, or to a strengthening of his coalition and Netanyahu continuing to govern for years to come. Actual results will come eventually, but in the meantime, those on the left and right have differing predictions regarding the meaning of an announcement by Defense Minister Ehud Barak and four other leaders of the Labor Party that they will leave the Labor Party but remain in the Netanyahu government. And on issues of defense for Israel, the Jewish state may face less danger from Iran in coming years, thanks to a computer virus. The Stuxnet computer virus had been much discussed as the subject of mystery in computer circles for months, but a New York Times story last weekend claimed that the source of the virus is indeed Israel and that its mission is to slow Iranian nuclear development. Probably not coincidentally, the outgoing director of Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, announced that where Israel had previously thought that Iran would have nuclear weapons as early as this year, Mossad now predicts that Iran won't have nuclear weapons until the year 2015. Moving on from Israel news, a major question about how the Jewish community in America has been doing over the past few years has concerned those members of the community who are in the most need. In the first of a series of stories examining the current state of Jewish poverty, Christian Needon looks at how the elderly in need of food are faring as the year 2011 gets underway.
Winter has already brought plenty of snow to New York City, making foot travel hazardous, and the streets a very cold place for the impoverished and hungry, especially the elderly. The Metropolitan Council on Jewish Poverty, an umbrella organization for 25 local Jewish community councils, has played a key role in providing free food for the city's low-income elderly by lending its financial muscle to unique programs like Masbia, a high-end, Jewish-run soup kitchen that feeds hungry clients of all ages and faiths at 3 locations in Brooklyn and 1 in Rego Park, Queens. Met Council Executive Director William Rapfogel said that his organization has tried to expand food programs like this, even amidst budget cuts during the economic downturn.
We have historically been very involved in food programs, but particularly in food pantries. We have over 60 sites around the city where we distribute food to 15,000 households, non-perishable food primarily, to 15,000 households every single month, and a lot more before Passover and Rosh Hashanah. And the financial breakdown in 2008 and the period of time that had demonstrated to us that there were significant numbers of people who needed more than just simply the non-perishable food, but needed an opportunity to have respite, where they could get out of their house and they could have food in a decent setting, almost restaurant-like.
And for their newest soup kitchen in Queens, that has meant serving a large quantity of elderly Jews in need.
I would say that overall we have like 20% seniors, but the Masbia on Queens Boulevard has probably 50% seniors, just by the geographic where we are located. There's a lot of seniors living in the proximity over here, and they are utilizing the Masbia a lot.
While utilizing these kosher soup kitchens, significant effort is made to give these elderly clients a quality eating experience.
People come in and just mark off their name or an initial, and then we go and we give them a place. There's 10 tables in here, so we give them a table from 1 to 10, bringing to that table chicken, a starch, a vegetable, and a hot soup and dessert. And then there is bread and sour pickles and sauerkraut for that self-service.
And the high quality of the Masbia experience means that rather than simply being a soup kitchen, Rapvogel prefers the term
free kosher restaurants. They're not soup kitchens. Soup kitchens conjure up the image of a person sitting in a backless bench with a metal table and standing on a line to get some, I guess, oatmeal-looking food smacked down into their plate. What we've done is we've created an environment where people are literally sitting in what looks to be a restaurant and have waiters and waitresses who are volunteers, in some cases are caseworkers and social workers, who come to serve them the food.
And dignity is an important part of the work here.
I think there's somewhere in the Talmud that says no one ever died of hunger, they died of shame. So fighting the shame is the real fighting of hunger. So that's what we try to do here.
To hear more about Masbia and those who volunteer their time to work there, please tune into the full broadcast version of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Christian. The Jewish Channel recently held its first event to celebrate its relationship with cable provider RCN and to provide entertainment for the young and old of the Lower East Side's Jewish community. Rebecca Honig-Friedman reports.
RCN hosted a free concert on Manhattan's Lower East Side this week, featuring Jewish rock band Pei Dalet. Neighborhood residents of all ages turned out for the community event, which RCN's Derek Haff said would raise awareness about the cable provider's Jewish programming.
Basically, want to just let people know that we're here and we're part of the community. We may not be the big boys like Time Warner or Verizon, but we can still come down and be a part of your life and provide a good service and good customer service and provide things that people are interested in.
And in that regard, the event was a success for this future TJC watcher.
I was watching it before the concert started, but I didn't know about it before.
Lower East Side community leader Jacob Goldman, who has actually been on TJC's Week in Review before, is also a subscriber.
It's long overdue, and you really have great people doing it. They're doing it right. You know, there's original programming, there's contemporary issues, there's older, there's newer and older documentaries. It really is a nice mix of everything.
And of course, any Jewish event wouldn't be complete without food. So which slice was the most popular?
I personally like the peppers and onions, but I think the plane flew out of the boxes today.
But the music, of course, was an even bigger draw.
Pei Dalet rocks. They're really, really great.
And this young man agreed. Did you see the concert?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Very good.
This little girl even tried to join the band, though these boys were content to listen.
I just like songs, and sometimes I sing to myself.
Can you sing it for us? So we'll leave the singing to Pei Dalet. Reporting for the Jewish Channel, I'm Rebecca Honig-Friedman.
Thank you, Rebecca. That's all for this week. From all of us here at the Jewish Channel, be well. The Jewish Channel is available on cable. IO Optimum Cable Channel 291, Time Warner Cable Channel 528, RCN Channel 268, Verizon Fios Channel 900, and Cox Cable Channel 1. For more information, visit tjctv.com.